Who's Scruffy-Looking?
Hello there, all you Omwatis and Ortolans, and welcome to the Scruffy-Looking podcast, the podcast where we talk about everything related to that galaxy far, far away. My name is Dakota Hayden, and with me is my father and co-host, Mark Hayden Jr.
Hello.
How's it going, Pops?
Doing well. How you doing?
Well, pretty good, but I gotta call it, because last episode we were talking about the D23 event that was going on, and when we were talking about the Skeleton Crew, we were like, well, we haven't seen a trailer for it yet, and literally, not an hour after we finished filming,
Right.
they made the announcement that they were going to show the trailer at D23,
Yeah.
and I was like, that's just our luck. So we got plenty to talk about. There was a lot that they showed at D23, and maybe stuff that got leaked a little bit at D23, but plenty of stuff to talk about.
Yep, absolutely.
Obviously, we'll get into the stuff that everybody knows about. Of course, the official trailer for the Skeleton Crew came out. So I have it pulled up here on my laptop. We're going to kind of take a look at it and then give our thoughts and opinions. You viewers at home, feel free to open up the trailer and watch alongside us, if you will. But we'll post screen pictures to kind of so you know where we're stopping and talking about. This kind of struck me a little bit off. I'm absolutely down for it, but isn't it weird to see a suburban set in Star Wars?
Yeah, that was the first thing when I saw it too. Is like, well, that's kind of jarred me out of it for a second because it's like the first time we see like a middle class setting kind of. So yeah, I'm curious to see more about it. Maybe the only thing I would have done different, like the houses and everything, but maybe the lawns are a little too much for me. Maybe if like the grasses were like different colors or like done differently,
had fauna or something.
Yeah,
like that
just the really trimmed up, freshly mowed looking lawns is kind of like, well, that's, I don't know.
It's like they got a homeowners association
right,
in this area.
So,
but a very I know a lot of people are saying like this. The vibe for the story is very 80s centric,
absolutely.
and this is definitely like screaming that to me. So, yeah.
But then I noticed the tracks in the road, so they must, like those buses or whatever, must follow like the track maybe.
I would assume
or something like that. So, yeah.
That's interesting, but yeah, I'm with you. It was kind of jarring at first, but I think I can get into it.
Yeah, just how it's handled and where just kind of it's interesting to see. Just different, just different.
Yeah. I will have to say I did like that that girl because we were hoping that she wasn't going to turn out to be one of those mods, the one with the visor on. Yeah. So I was real happy to see it was just a headset visor that she brought down.
Yeah. You think he's really going to be a Jedi?
Jude Law, his character?
Yeah.
Or
is that some kind of trick? Is he like in Kenobi, Raj?
Oh yeah, she wasn't oh, what was she?
No, not the guy.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot.
It's Raji or something.
Raji, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I forget what they called him.
Yeah, he was just kind of like sleight of hand. Remember, he wasn't really a Jedi. He was kind of just like had like magic tricks and stuff he would do to.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I was. That was okay for that part. I don't know. Maybe a Force sensitive that's not really a Jedi, but maybe thinks he's a Jedi. Maybe I don't.
I could see that. I don't know where they would go with that. I think I'm with you. I don't know if I want him to be a Jedi per se, because I'm down for stories kind of like, because the galaxy is huge, and of course the Jedi play a very pivotal and major role in the overarching story of the galaxy, but there's got to be plenty of stories to tell where they're just not involved, you know?
I'd be alright if he was like somebody that learned the Force, never became a Jedi, but he was kind of like a smuggler or something and kind of used it for, you know what I'm saying? Like that way, and then if he needs to get out of a situation or whatever, sometimes maybe, oh my goodness, that guy's a Jedi, but he's not. He's like, well, I'm not a Jedi, but I know how to do this.
He's got some
or whatever
skills with it, but it's for more nefarious purposes or such. But I'm very excited for this. I think it's a cool concept, and I think it could be really interesting. I wonder what their main what the main story they're looking to tell. It looks like it's adventure based, but like, is it just like trying to escape what you've been bound to and like go travel the galaxy, or I wonder what the overarching like main focus of the story is.
It'll be interesting because it's supposed to tie in. It just takes place during the Mandalorian time frame. How it'll tie in with that. Of course, obviously the one pirate that we've seen and other stuff, promos and stuff for this is the one from the Mandalorian season 3.
Yes.
And some of the costumes that we saw, that Grand that's missing the one eye and has the eye patch, I think he's really cool looking. I really like that look of him. So yeah, I'll be in. If is it going to be like each episode neatly wraps up like an adventure, or is it going to be like one? I mean, it's all going to tie together, but
for sure.
This episode, we hit the hyperdrive on this ship and we ended up here, and next day, we ended up here, and everything. Here's a crazy thought. What if they jump into hyperspace? Just try to think of a way this can tie it all together.
Yeah.
They jump in the hyperspace, and they ended up in the other galaxy in Peridia. And they come across Ahsoka and Sabine, and that's how Ahsoka and Sabine get back through that.
That would be a very interesting way to tie it, because as far as we know, they're just stuck there at the moment. Mm-hmm. So that'd be an interesting way to tie it all together.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to think of any other ways you could tie it together. I mean, will these kids or something in here be in the Mandalorian movie? They seem like they're going to tie all this stuff together. Just curious how they're going to do it.
Do we know yet how many episodes we're getting with the Skeleton Crew series?
I think it's 8, but I'm honestly not sure.
They seem to be really clinging towards that 8 number I've noticed recently. But as long as they tell it right, it's great. It's perfect amount of time to tell a story.
Yeah, just curious to see. I mean, it looks like it's going to be something different, which is cool. I'm all for trying different things and stuff. So let's see.
Absolutely.
See how it ties in with everything else.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Another thing where we're going to see like any elements of the Empire, the remnant of the Empire, or anything,
Yeah, there's a lot that they could show and tell in this, and I'm excited to see what direction they take it. So that'll be cool.
Maybe one of their adventures, they stumble on an old Imperial base and come across some of the cloning stuff that we've seen in Mandalorian with Gideon and stuff like that.
That'd be very interesting. So I could play into some good storytelling.
Let's go crazy. They accidentally reactivate a cloning chamber or something, and they're the ones that create Snoke.
That would be a twist. That would be such a twist. I'm okay. I saw a video, and I don't remember where the story originally came from, but have you heard of, what are they called? They're called, they have an odd name, but I can't remember it, but have you heard mentions of, like, hyperspace ghosts?
Oh, yes.
Since this is kind of like, kind of a kid-based adventure thing, but it has some elements of, like, 80s stuff, if they're pulling ideas from like Stranger Things and stuff, there's kind of like there's not a horror element per se, but there's like some scary stuff that can happen in there. I wonder if they're traveling through hyperspace, it'd be kind of cool to see a live action version of those like hyperspace
ghosts
kind of popping out of
that'd be interesting.
So. I can't remember. I don't think they were ever confirmed in like canon to be a thing, but I remember they were mentioned in Legends, and to be honest, I just saw a video of it recently, and I was like, oh, that's an interesting thing. That'd be something fun to kind of tie into something, because as far as we know, you just jump through hyperspace, but supposedly there's like a spooky element into it.
That'd be kind of intriguing.
That'd be an interesting theory. But I'm standing by that Snoke theory. If they're not the reason Snoke's made, ooh man, that'd really add a lot of character to him in the sequels for sure. So, Skeleton Crew was the big to-do. They had the announcement that they were going to show it at D23. We got the trailer. There was a couple other things that they showed at D23 that have been leaked online. We're not going to show any footage. We're not going to show any pictures of it. But there's 2 things that we definitely want to talk about. And one of them is they leaked Andor Season 2. What did you think from what you were able to saw from the leaks of Andor Season 2?
Oh, I'm excited for it. Honestly, right now, that's the thing I'm most excited for. Even more excited for it than the Mandalorian movie. Now
Yes.
that'll change as we see more of it and stuff. But as of now, that's I can't wait for that. Hopefully, Skeleton Crew starts early December, so it'll probably be over early January. Hopefully late February, maybe March we get, because then next year May you got Celebration in Japan.
Yes.
So hopefully Andor comes out before that, and then that'll kind of wrap up all the projects like we know have been
announced
worked or what.
worked
That way, the Celebration then it's like a clean slate of announcing stuff or show. I mean, we know the Mandalorian movie's coming, but like everything that's been done, it is wrapped up and we're ready for new stuff.
Yeah,
anyways,
and that'll be exciting to see. So from what we saw from the Andor season 2 leak that we were able to watch, I forget what the timeline is for the season 2, because did they say that season 2 is going to take place like a year or two after season 1, and then if they were going to do a season 3 that was going to take a year or two after that yet?
So the final there's 12 episodes broken down into 4 like stories inside the series.
Yes.
So the final 3 lead right into Rogue One. The 3 before that, or a year before that, the 3 before that, or a year before that, and the 3 before that, or a year before that.
Okay.
So
that'll be interesting to see how they address those time jumps in there. If they do it right, I'm sure it'll be like great, and like it'll be like perfectly succinct one after another.
So I'm curious, excited to see K2SO back.
Oh yeah,
love that
absolutely.
character. Curious if all of a sudden he's just gonna be like when they start like a one of the 3-parters. Is he just gonna automatically be there? Or are they going to show us actually how they came about where they captured him and reprogrammed or whatever?
Yeah.
Now I know there was a comic that told that story. I wasn't a big fan of it personally. I'd be alright if they retcon that and do something different here and show them.
Yeah, I'd be curious how they address that. So totally excited for it. I mean, it seems like a lot of action-paced stuff is ready to happen. And even like the behind-the-scenes kind of like, for a couple of the episodes from the first season, which I need to rewatch that again. And if you folks at home haven't seen it or watched the first episode and maybe got a little bit bored of it, I fully recommend give it another try and watch it all the way through.
Definitely.
But I found myself enjoying like even the political side of things and understanding what's going on in the backgrounds behind all the action. I thought for lore building and such that was really cool.
Yeah, it was so well written and everything. It just either the political stuff when they're in prison and stuff, just all that stuff is just great storytelling.
Yes. So, from what we saw in the leak, Krennic was going to pop in. So that's kind of exciting to see.
Yeah, I liked him a lot too. So I have a feeling we won't see him until the final 3-episode arc leading up to Rogue One. I was just trying to think, how could you put him in before that and make it kind of make sense. So I think as the final 3 episodes are leading into Rogue One, and we'll kind of see it from the Rebellion point of view, that maybe we'll see it from the Empire point of view of leading into that. So I think they'll save him. He'll be, I'm thinking maybe like there'll be 3 of the episodes. Krennic will be the cool return person. One set of the 3 will be K2SO.
Yeah.
Maybe one set of the 3 will deal with Saw Gerrera. Then maybe each group of 3 stories will have like a, oh wow, it's him, or even though we know they're coming or whatever, but maybe focus on them, maybe.
It'll be nice to see if they do that way, how they combine everything that's happening in the backgrounds and make Rogue One kind of like the boiling point. So that'll be interesting to see how they lead up into that. So I'm excited for
and
that.
then maybe each 3-episode arc deals with a different uprising on a different planet in the galaxy, kind of showing the starts of the rebellion across the galaxy. If they do that, the one thing that kind of was lacking in the first season was aliens.
Oh yeah,
it'd be nice to show a planet with some were some of aliens we know, Rhodians or somebody, Thorians or somebody.
Yeah.
Show them starting to rise up just to get some a little more aliens in the series would be cool.
Diversification would be nice. Yeah. I noticed the I forget their names, but those twins that were
the two tubes.
The
those are some of my favorite from the Disney era, or some of my favorite character designs is the two-tube brothers. So yeah, I'm excited to see them. Hopefully, you can see some action. And stuff,
for sure. Because if I remember right, they were just there for the capture of Bodhi, weren't they?
Yeah, and then you remember the one is in Solo as part of the Infus Nest gang. So.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I hope they get to see some action. I hope maybe there's a little more action. Not that there wasn't action in the last season, but maybe a little more. I'd like to see a little more the people uprising and fighting. I'd like to see Saul Guerrero's group. They got X-Wings and stuff. We need to see some X-Wing versus TIE Fighter action or something like, stuff like that.
If this season was more action-heavy as compared to the last season, the action I felt was more like meaningful behind it. Like when they had the heist going on, and then they had the uprising that happened on that planet. It was very like meaningful, and you could see the background of insurrection happening, and it was very drawn out, but it was, for storytelling purposes, I think it served very well. For this one, it'd be nice to just see all out, like these uprisings, things are getting a little bit more chaotic and hectic, and then that's leading to the point to that grand battle at Scarif during Rogue One. So exciting to see that.
Yeah, and it looks like the one picture still we saw at first, when I first glanced over it, I thought it was a TIE Interceptor, but I'm pretty sure that's a TIE Avenger, or at least a different type of TIE. So that's neat. I'm all for seeing. I'm really hoping someday we get a TIE Defender in live action. That's my hope. Filoni gives that to us at some point. Even if it's just escorting something or flying by in the background.
That'd be cool to see in live action.
Yeah, it's cool to see the E-Wing and Ahsoka. I want a TIE Defender. So in the trailer there, looks like we see the U-Wing again. I love those U-Wings.
Those are cool. Yes.
Excited to see those. Another request, Hasbro, please make one of those in the vintage collection. That'd be super cool.
That would be awesome. That'd be super awesome. I want them go even further. Make one for like the 6-inch scale. You'd think how big that thing would be.
Yeah.
The Snowspeeder's already like that big. U-Wing take up this entire room probably.
That'd be a cool display piece.
Oh yeah, for sure. Had another thought. Another thing I think would be cool is, I think they've kind of kept this idea around, but I saw some pictures recently of I think it was Legend stuff that I was probably seeing, or like concept art or something like that, of like the Rebellion using old scrap tech from like the Republic and stuff like that. So that'd be cool if, as we see that, maybe we see like a refurbished ARC 130 go through or something like cool. that. That the Rebellion took and cobbled back together and fixed into stuff.
Or like a clone gunship or something like that. That'd be cool. That'd be neat.
Because Saw Gerrera definitely seems like the type that would take, as long as it shoots, I'm going to use it. Yeah. So I think that would be cool to see.
Imagine this. Like Saw Gerrera's partisans get a hold of a ATT versus an AT-AT or something. That would be
cool.
Like some kind of almost like old school tank warfare. I kind of know they got legs, but
that would be cool.
That'd be cool. So
So yeah, very very excited for Andor season 2. A lot of premise.
Now, one other thing I thought about: does you think Luthen will survive this whole show?
Because I kind of was left with the idea that he didn't make it out, but who knows? Maybe he found a way out still. Even I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'd be curious.
Because you don't hear nothing of him in Rogue One. So does he just happen to keep doing his undercover work, or that'd be a powerful ending to his. How well this series does like powerful things, moments and stuff like that. What if towards the end of the series he gets discovered?
Ooh.
And you see these stormtroopers march into his antiquities shop.
Yeah.
And arrest him. And I think that'd be a real powerful moment.
Yeah.
And seeing him kind of see his fate that way, what happens to him that way. I think that could be done very well and be very
very
so, too.
emotional and interesting.
Yeah,
so.
I think so too. And I really enjoyed his character. in
Yes,
season 1 for
absolutely,
sure.
yeah.
And his ship,
Yeah.
that laser.
Yeah,
maneuver
hopefully
that
we
in
get
was
to
one of
see
the
more
cool-
of that ship in this season too. Yeah, that ship was very awesome.
Yeah, that was cool to see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think that's most of the coverage and the things that we were able to see from the leak for season 2 of Andor. I don't know if any other pictures released or anything that I would have missed. I did hear an article come out from Diego Luna, the actor who plays Cassian Andor, for those of you who don't know. Apparently, ever since he was a child, he always wanted to meet Jabba the Hutt in character, and I guess that's not going to happen, so he's really disappointed about that. And I was like, it's kind of a little funny thing from him being a fan to wanting that interaction and not getting that.
It'd been interesting how you make that work unless they would have had his character go to Jabba's palace like they was trying to find information, and he had a meeting with the Hutts to discover something. I'm kind of curious. I've heard him say, and the actress that plays Bix, that how much, for lack of words, how they said how much better this season is, and how it was going to make us change how we view Rogue One. And I'm like, okay, I hope it's for even better, because I love Rogue One.
Yeah, Rogue One's great.
Don't diminish Rogue One for me, please.
Yeah. So hopefully it's just a build off.
And I know that's all when actors and actresses are out there promoting stuff, it's always the next best thing. Yeah, so I get that, but it's like, well, I love season 1 of Andor, so if they think season 2's even cooler, it's like, oh, I'm all right.
Yeah, I'll take all that. I'll take all that. But yeah, I'm with you. I hope it doesn't completely change the meaning for Rogue One. Yeah. If it adds to it and makes it even better, I'm all for it.
Yeah. That's the way I hope he's had when he says it's going to make us look at it different. It's going to make it even cooler than it already is. So.
For sure. I wonder if they'll get any. Well, then I guess it's technically not Andor, but if we're kind of seeing different points of view of insurrections and rebellion and stuff like that. I wonder if we'll get maybe just a glimpse of where Chirrut and Chirrut and Baze came from, because that'd be kind of cool to see. I always thought they were kind of intriguing characters from Rogue One. It'd be kind of cool to see where they came from. I doubt it, but it'd be a cool nod to just get a scene of something happening.
Yeah, I'm not sure how long they were on Jeddah, kind of there. That'd be interesting. Something else I just thought of, the time frame we're getting in now, is there any cameos by any of the Rebels crew?
Oh, that is true. They could definitely pull them into that, because around this time they wouldn't have been on oh my goodness, what's the Lothal? They wouldn't have gotten there yet, right? Or would they have been? Would around this time they would have gotten on Lothal?
Pretty close, I believe. Now when you get towards the final where they're getting closer to New Hope, definitely they could pop in there somewhere.
For sure.
So that'd be an interesting.
Because that'd be a cool way to show a live action Kanan.
There you go.
That'd be a good way to put him in.
To finally get great thought. Yeah, finally get a live action Kanan appearance in there. So, and they don't even have to have major parts of the story. You can be having all these rebel cells getting together and trying to decide what the future's. Maybe the first time Mon Mothma gets them all together or whatever, and they can just be sitting up there, and you'd be like, oh, hey, there's Hera, there's Zeb, there's Kanan, there's,
Yeah, just there in the background, just little cameos, just a little pick them out and just be like, oh, hey, that's awesome.
And I thought of another, I love Rogue One. I'm thinking of, I love Admiral Raddus. Please give me just a little Admiral Raddus somewhere in here so I can see him again.
That would be cool.
Love that guy.
Yeah, so, he was awesome. He was awesome. All right, we had the Skeleton Crew was announced at D23. We had the leak of Andor Season 2. I think the one that's getting a lot of, at least casual viewers, hyped up for is the leak for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which I had to laugh when I saw the title announced, because we were talking about how I wish it wasn't called The Mandalorian and Grogu.
Yeah, I'm still not fond of that.
I mean, like, that's the characters. It probably will bring in more draw like that, but I wish they could have come up with a better name for it.
Yeah, I do too.
So,
but you know what? As long as if the movie's good, then
the
title ain't nothing. Then I guess, but
So there was a leak of the footage from D23. We're gonna take a look at that, and if we have any thoughts of it, we'll bring it up. So, when I first saw the leaked footage, there was a lot of things I was pretty excited about, but there's a lot of things that I'm kind of worried about. Okay. And I'm gonna go ahead and say, I know that Grogu brings in a lot of people to watch Star Wars because everybody loves him. Mm-hmm. I loved him, like when we first were introduced to him. I still do love him, but I think it's one of those things where it's like we're getting too much of him, and it's not a bad thing, but when it's taking up too much of the story, I don't know. To me, it just kind of there's more stuff that can be told without him tagging along all the time. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? When we were first introduced to him, like that was, I remember the ending of season 1. Like that was like being a long a time fan as we were to see a youth of Yoda's species just completely blew my mind.
Yeah, I always remember that evening when we watched that for the first time when they revealed that, how we just looked across the room at each other. We were sitting on different couches and stuff, and it was like, wow. And I remember telling Misty, boy, wait till you see. I can't believe what they did.
Yeah.
But I'm to that point now. It's probably not a very popular opinion. I'm Grogu'd out.
Yeah.
I'm over him for now. I like him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wish they wouldn't have brought him back so fast. How they interrupted the Book of Boba Fett and had to bring him back to, the Mandalorian, and then really you didn't really need him in season 3 of Mandalorian.
No.
And I don't know if I'm no businessman. I don't know how this stuff works. I feel like when they were discussing Mandalorian season 3 with the executives and higher ups, and they're pitching the story idea and all that, and they're like, well, where's the little green moneymaker at? And they're like, oh, he went off with Luke. He's not going to be in the season. And they're like, whoa, we got to have him in here. So they had to change up, and maybe not. I could be told, but I feel like then they had to go back and change up Book of Boba Fett to add that, so it was ready for when season 3 of The Mandalorian started. He was back.
Yeah,
with them, and he didn't really need. How can I miss you if you don't go away?
Uh-huh.
You know what? If they would have just kept him away for a season, kept him with Luke, and then brought him back together. I mean, I always wanted them to come back together.
Yeah, for sure.
But it just, what was the point of having him go away if you're just going to
have him right back?
Just that part doesn't work for me. A little too much Grogu for me.
I agree. I agree.
And I have to admit, when we first saw him, I thought, okay, that's cool. It's Yoda species. Then the story's going to be he's going to turn him in, and I thought we'd be done with him. And then maybe somewhere down the line, maybe he'd pop up again. Mm-hmm. I was a little bit disappointed that he's one of the main characters that's going to be around all the time. Some of the stuff everybody thinks he does that's cutesy and all that, to me is kind of annoying a little bit. Yeah. Now I'll admit some things like maybe even in the season 3 when they take IG-11 and make him in the show, and yes, no. I have to admit, that made me laugh. Yeah. Okay, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Did it need to be? You didn't need it in there for this story. No. I wish season 3 would have focused more Mandalorian stuff and showing, kind of going same story they did, but maybe a little more focus on it, made more emphasis on that. But I'm excited to see. I love seeing the AT-AT walkers. Looks like maybe we might get to see the inside of an AT-AT walker for the first time. That'd be cool. Curious, the snow planet.
Yeah.
Is that a planet we're familiar with? Is it Hoth? Is it the planet he crashed on that had the spiders on it? I hope not, because I don't like those spiders. Another thought, I don't know how, it might be too soon to start. If it's supposed to be, everything leading up to the sequel trilogy, is that snow planet, is that Ilum?
Ooh, yeah.
And for some reason he goes there, and it's the beginning of them starting to change it over to Starkiller base. You know, hey, there's something going on out here.
Yeah.
You know, might be a little too soon for that. Maybe. I mean, if you converted a planet to super weapons, surely that's being worked on now. It might be too early to have somebody discover what's going on out there.
But
maybe.
there could be the inklings of some big construction
Right,
happening here.
yeah.
Like there's a bunch of material being imported.
And I guess that could feed into how the New Republic was kind of oblivious and didn't want to accept that there was a new threat coming. That maybe he's like, hey guys, this is going on out there. Yeah. And do they just turn a blind eye to it? That I guess somewhere along those lines would work. Love seeing Zeb. I hope he's got a decent little part in the movie. It looks like we got another Razor Crest.
I saw that, and I kind of wasn't too big of a fan to see that. I loved the Razor Crest when they first brought it up, but seeing it back again, I was kind of just hoping we moved on from that.
But that N1's cool, but to me, for his line of work, it's a total impractical ship. Just like when they had Cad Bane had one of those Magna Guard fighters in Clone Wars. It's like, you're a bounty. Where are you supposed to put your bounties at? You're going to kill them all and just take pictures of them, or bring their heads back or something?
Yeah.
It to me is an impractical ship. Now it'd be cool if this new Razor Crest is his. Maybe it's Zeb's.
Oh,
Maybe it might be Zeb's Razor Crest. But it'd be neat, like if it had like a docking thing where you could keep that N1 with them or something.
Kind of have it be a fighter that
pops
off.
And then we see him on that ATRT, which is left over from the Clone Wars. Maybe if this is his new Razor Crest, maybe it has one of those in it. So like if he needs to travel over land, instead of having a blurg with you or something like that, you got an ATRT to go over everything with.
Expand his arsenal. That'd be kind of fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd be curious to see how they handle that being a new Razor Crest. I got it. There's going to be a scene where Din Djarin, Grogu, R5-D4, and the off-world Jawas with the red eyes are going to be on that planet with the giant bottle of Jawa super glue, putting the pieces of the original Razor Crest back together. I got a piece of the wing, and then when you get done, it's all like patched back together.
Those Jawas definitely know how to work.
Hey, don't doubt Jawa super glue.
Oh, that'd be something. I like to think that what was it around the time where they released the Lego version of the Razor Crest was around the time where it got destroyed. So
the HasLab, the
big HasLab is when it got destroyed. So it's like maybe they're just kind of like being like, hey, remember that ship you bought a while back ago?
It's worth something again.
Yeah, it's back. It's back. How about that?
Oh, going back to that Skeleton Crew trailer when we saw Jawas there.
Yeah.
What a missed opportunity. They gave us red Jawas with red eyes. It should have been blue-eyed Jawas right there.
Just keep the different eyes of Jawa. Every time they come back, we see a different eye of Jawa.
Yeah. And you can just put them up on your Christmas tree and then Christmas.
Time to get out the holiday Jawas.
Yeah. And something else they need to address, for me anyway, in this movie. I don't know if Thrawn's going to be in this or if he's going to be in the Filoni movie, the movie Filoni's making. You got to explain to me, with all these big things happening in the galaxy, where is Luke, Han, and Leia?
100%, because they're household names at this point.
Right,
so
and you know how big they are. You can't just not acknowledge them or mention them at all. Now, Solo's the only Star Wars movie that hasn't had 3PO and R2 in it. So do you have 3PO and R2? I mean, there's easy tie-ins you put there. But if Luke, Han, and Leia aren't in it, you have to give me some explanation what's going on where they wouldn't be involved. If this is a major thing happening in the galaxy, you can't tell me all three of them are just sitting at a canteen of someplace having a drink.
I remember you mentioned a war on two fronts.
Right. Yeah.
Focusing on some kind of different threat besides.
Yeah. I was trying to think of from the Timothy Zahn trilogy. Boris Fele, the Bothan, was kind of doing a political power move and stuff like that. So if somebody like that's doing that, where they're dealing with that front, hey, there's some turmoil in the New Republic here and the government part of it. You know, our fighting days are a little bit behind it. We're better served here. Kind of something along those lines.
Yeah.
But to me, they have to let me know what's going on with them.
They really
I thought Ahsoka handled the thing with Leia really well. You know, just a little mention of her and how she helped out, and you didn't need to see her, but that worked good. But yeah, I need you got to tell me what's going on with these main characters when this is a big event happening and they're around.
Yeah, they need to be doing something else. Like, you need to be telling us that they're doing something else. Because for them to just flat out ignore it doesn't make sense. But I like the idea that you thought of, like, it's more of a government situation that they're helping out, because that would be 100% Leia's character going to be fronting that, absolutely.
And Luke being a Jedi, you know, he's
being
the mediator stuff there, and then Han just kind of supporting or whatever. Maybe you could have Chewie in it. Hey, you know, Chewie and the droids are going to come help you out.
Yeah,
you know?
give a little support.
So
you could.
Yeah, I mean, there's different things you could do. I just hope there's some explanation to it. Me personally, I need to know what's going on with them that's making it where they're not there to help out, because you know they would be there to help out.
Oh, 100%. I thought it was cool when we saw the snow planet that we got snowtroopers back. So
yes.
that was
I'm
cool
excited to see them too.
Again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be fun. It's fascinating to me how many. Well, I guess it makes sense because they were a universal power. But just how many cells of Imperials there are all everywhere, and how much resources they still have. So it very well leads into when the First Order came around, they still had a lot to pull from the remnants of the Empire. Or even if, you know, even with Thrawn coming back, for him to assemble like a reckoning force, that would be easy with all the different strength or strongholds of remnants that there are everywhere, if that's the direction they're going for, which I think it kind of seems like they are.
I always thought a neat thing to bring in I don't know if it's been handled. I haven't read all the books, but you know, after the Japanese surrendered at the end of World War II, there's Japanese soldiers and stuff on random islands out in the Pacific that actually kind of fought on for years. They didn't know they had surrendered because they were cut off from communications and stuff. They thought the war. I always thought that'd be something intriguing to bring in. I mean, you could do it with a little group of the Empire, on some far off planet. There's communications are bad because like the maybe a lot of asteroids or like Saturn rings around, so they didn't know what happened. And then, you know, some New Republic people stumble on them and they have no idea what happened. I always thought a cool thing with that would be maybe not do it during the Imperial era, but the clone troopers. Like clone troopers didn't get the Order 66 transmission. They're on some remote planet, didn't know what was going on, and then somehow they get rescued or brought in, and they meet Luke, and they're like, "Wait a minute, where's that?" You know, kind of. Yeah. Well, we knew Anakin Skywalker. You know, kind of. I thought that'd be kind of a neat.
That would be cool. I think,
and maybe some of that's been touched on before. I don't like I said I haven't read all the books, so but
I think there was a comic series out that told a story of a clone trooper that the rebels stumbled across. I forget what planet. I think the clone trooper's name was Adam or something like that, or they gave him the name Adam. But that I didn't read it, but I saw little blurbs from the comic, and I was thought that's an interesting concept, because surely with how vast and widespread the war was, you would have cells like that where just it
didn't have no idea the war was even over.
But that'd be really cool if you had just like a small little squadron of just like clone troopers hanging out, and we just stumbled across them, and would be even cooler. And I think this might have been the case in the comic book, but if there was like a little skirmish going on between the rebels and the Empire, and they stumble across that clone cell, which way are they going? Are they going towards the Empire that looks more like what they know, or are they going towards the rebels? Then it's kind of like a morality question. That'd be kind of interesting to play with.
Another interesting thing to put into it, if you went back and had it be clones, what if their Jedi was still alive? You know, what the clones would be older because of the aging stuff, but have like an old Jedi there, and them not having any idea what, had no communication, just thought they were abandoned, left, no technology really on the planet. And then they get stumbled upon. And
that'd be very interesting.
Maybe that's how you could introduce from I love those three Timothy Zahn books. Sebioth, maybe he could be the Jedi that was leading those clones. They brought Paleon in and Thrawn and all that. The stories are different. I love seeing them. But, if you want to bring him in, maybe he could.
That'd be a cool little just tie-in, just to kind of add more to it. Yeah.
And you could, he's kind of crazy and mad. You could have him, gone crazy. They've been out of communication so long, living off the land. They could all be kind of crazy or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. That'd be a cool little tie-in it's just really cool in the area that we're in right now. There's a whole lot of different things that we can, different stories that can be put together that I think would be really cool. It always feels like to me in the grand timeline, we keep pushing towards like a brick wall, because we're telling a bunch of these stories, but we know where they're all ending up at. But there's plenty of room to maneuver and work around in there, and I think that's a really cool era to be in. So,
and kind of circling back to something else, made me think of something else. With Skeleton Crew and like scary stuff or whatever. How cool would it be if they went to a planet and Dirge was there, and that's how you brought Dirge.
That would be cool,
because he's kind of a creepy-looking, monster-looking thing. Yeah. That'd kind of tie into like the whole Stranger Things. Yeah, that'd be kind of neat to.
That'd be a cool. I wonder what a live-action Dirge would look, because both interpretations that I've seen of him in the comic book, in the comic books and in the cartoon, the old Clone Wars cartoon, I thought were really cool, and I really liked them. So I'd wonder what a live action would look like.
But that'd be a good horror kind of scary element. You could just have them be on some planet, and that story would be different. All that, that'd be cool. You'd be like, us longtime fans would be like, oh, that's so and so, and I think that'd be kind of a neat idea.
I think it'd be cool. I don't remember if they made Dirge canon or not. I don't think
so. I can't think of anything he'd been in or anything that would have been canon.
No, I can't remember either. Because when we saw him in Legends and like the comics and stuff, that was during the Clone Wars, after Attack of the Clones. So that was around that timeline. But I don't think we've had any kind of mention of him in canon that I know of or that we know of. So, but cool stuff. Excited to see more of The Mandalorian and Grogu, and of Andor Season 2 when they finally release official trailers and stuff. So, so Mandalorian Grogu is in theaters May 2026, and then Andor, when did they say that was going to come out?
I don't think
they didn't give a date to
I think it's early 2025. I don't think there's a date. So I'm thinking they'll try to get it done before Celebration. That way the focus will be on all the new stuff that's coming down the pipe. So
I would think so. And then Skeleton Crew, of course, is coming out December 3rd of this year. So that'll be exciting. Plenty to talk about that when that starts rolling out. Okay, so that is all the coverage that we have from D23. There's probably a little other blurbs in there that we're missing out, so we'll bring them up as they come up to our knowledge. But recent news that we can touch on, apparently the Acolyte did not get renewed for a season 2. Thoughts?
Me personally, I'm very disappointed.
Yeah.
Was it a perfect series? No. Kenobi wasn't perfect. Book of Boba Fett wasn't perfect. Mandalorian Season 3 wasn't perfect. I don't know how I know they dumped a lot of money to create this series, and you got to make your money back off of it.
Yeah.
How many times does the first season of a show is just kind of okay, but you got to give it time to give its footing and get going?
Not everything could be a Mandalorian Season 1.
Right.
Yeah.
To me, there was things about it that were just okay to me. Some things I didn't really like, but there was enough there that had me intrigued, especially towards the end. I want to see where that goes.
Yeah,
I really did. And if the whole thing, and no disrespect to the actress that played, May, if the thing with the twins wasn't working, then season 2 wrapped that up pretty quick.
Yeah.
And then focus on the things that were working, like, with the stranger,
Yeah, because these are all new characters. We don't know their fate, and they could change that on a dime.
Right.
So.
And this is probably going to throw some people for a loop. My personal opinion.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
the Stranger, the character, and his story and what could go on with him is more interesting to me than Kylo Ren story in the sequel trilogy.
From my opinion, and a very bold opinion, because I know there's a lot of Kylo Ren stands out there.
And I don't hate Kylo Ren.
No, absolutely not. But
as far as the character goes, more intriguing to me than what they did with Kylo Ren.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to agree with you. I'd be inclined to agree with you. I like Kylo Ren. I got nothing wrong with his character, but I think how they fully handled his character, I don't necessarily agree with all of that.
Right, yeah, exactly.
But with the Stranger, he's so new, and I like where he is and where he kind of came from, and I like the idea of where he might be going. So that would have been nice to see more.
Imagine
of the story.
the conversations the Stranger was having with Osha. Imagine if Kylo Ren was having a similar tone story like that to Rey.
That would have been...
it would have worked a lot better for me.
Yeah.
And, and really in episode 5, the lightsaber battle and that, for me personally, is better than any lightsaber action we got in the sequel trilogy.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
It's really some of the best lightsaber action we've seen. Even the final episode and the battle with where Konaka got possessed and stuff like that's some of my favorite Star Wars fighting, right? Is in this
the choreography
series.
was really good.
Right, I enjoyed the heck out of it. I rewatched it quite a few times, but yeah, I get in the long run it's got to make their money and all that stuff.
For sure.
I just it just frustrates me. It's like because to me, like I said, there was enough there. I wanted to see, especially with the Stranger. Now, do you do another series and call it something like? Well, they've been doing like Tales of the Empire and Tales of the Jedi, so Tales of the Sith probably, I imagine at some point it's going to be an animated thing.
Probably,
but
more likely.
Something along those lines for a title, and give us more Stranger. I mean, he did a great job. We need to see more of that character.
Yeah.
Have it take place after, and he can just refer to Osha in passing, that was a failed apprentice. Okay, that story's done. But kind of see his relationship with Plagueis and then what happens to him and stuff. So maybe you can do a Darth Plagueis series.
You could.
In the Stranger, the first part of it gives us some wrap with the Stranger and then move on to Palpatine and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
my biggest, I wasn't, to me, the Acolyte, I wasn't the biggest fan, and there was a lot of stuff that, like you said, there was parts that I liked, but there was a lot that I didn't like, but there was enough there that I wanted the story to be, whatever story they were going for, to be told, because to me, now we have this season 1 that wasn't well received, obviously, because it didn't get a season 2, but now we're just kind of left with that. That's canon, that's supposed to just sit there. So I wish we had, instead of like cliffhangers like that, more completed stories. But I mean, or just some way to cut that off or something. Like, say maybe a couple years down the line, they do a series of just like Darth Plagueis. They kind of model it after the books. Sure, why not? Okay, start it with the Stranger and Plagueis, and like take the Acolyte and just kind of shove it off to be like, yeah, that happened. We'll talk about it in passing. Here's the next story. So that way we have closure for it. And I guess, to some degree, do we need it? No. But I don't like having just unfinished stories in the timeline. I mean, that leaves for mystery, but to me, there wasn't a complete story there to leave enough for mystery. So that kind of stinks to see. But yeah, I mean, like the Stranger, like we talked about, want to see more of him. Obviously want to see more of Darth Plagueis if they tell his story really well, right? But there was a lot of writing for the Acolyte in a whole that I wasn't a big a fan of. But like you said, take that criticism and then change it up in the next season. Like, these are characters, besides Plagueis and besides Yoda, that we have no attachment to. We don't know their story. You could literally do whatever with them that you want. If they all die in the next season, you can do that. You very well could, except for the ones that, of course, make sense to keep around. But, yeah, I don't know. I just wish they could have had a chance to improve upon it and just at least have that second season to be like, there was a story to be told. We had 2 seasons, and that was it. Mm-hmm. But it's told. It's done. Yeah. Good or bad, it's done. Mm-hmm. So that to me would have been nice to see. So, yeah. But I know there's a lot of turmoil and stuff like that of people about whatever everyone's opinions are on the show getting canceled. You know, and it could have just came right down to the easy thing of like, it didn't make money, so we're not going to keep it going.
Yeah.
So.
And I'll just say, you know, the thing that frustrates me, you know, is the hate and stuff that fans show each other. I mean, we all love Star Wars. There's certain things I don't love so much about it, but if other people do, I'm happy they do. I'm tickled for them. By all means, I'm glad that works for you. But I'm not going to sit there and downgrade you for that or say, sit there, that stuff stinks, that's terrible, that's terrible. In my opinion, that doesn't work for me. No. Glad it works for you, and I'm on it. I wish there was more of that and not so much divisiveness in it. And unfortunately, I think we're at a point now, just in society as a whole, I don't think that's ever going to go away. I feel like the Mandalorian movie could be... even if it's the next Empire Strikes Back, there's going to be some group out there that's going to just hate it, just to hate it, and that's frustrating to me. So you know, this is in the bigger schemes of things. Star Wars doesn't mean nothing. It's just an escape. Just treat it as an escape. I love it. I'm passionate about it. If after episode 3. After Revenge of the Sith, we never got any other Star Wars content, and it would have been done. Yeah. Something cool, you know. Yeah. Just it's something I love. It's something I get passionate about. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. To get so worked up where you get mad and angry and stuff about it. I don't understand that. I don't get that either. It's sad to see, and I know we touched on that the last episode, but it's not helpful. Like, let's all join together to make something better instead of just constantly tearing each other down, because then you're just getting into a slugfest and nobody wins. Nobody wins. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's our opinions. Right. Yeah. But yeah. Well, I'm trying to think how to... Okay, well, something else. Do you think it's interesting? I mean, we've got Celebration coming up next May. Yes. And you know there's going to be announcements there. Oh, for sure. Do you find it interesting they didn't, announce any new shows or anything? That is fascinating. You know, no little teaser of anything. I mean, we know Ahsoka 2's coming, but there was no little sprinkle of anything. Rumors. I really thought even like a new animated series or something would get maybe revealed. I get saving everything for Celebration, but it seems like they would give you a little nugget of something to keep you hungry for the buffet at Celebration. I feel like they're scared, and I think, and I don't understand why, because it seems like, let's rewind time a little bit. When around The Last Jedi and around when Solo came out, those didn't perform well in theaters because for Solo, we think it's because of the backlash from The Last Jedi and such. And so it seemed like the entire executive team at Lucasfilm, Disney, shifted to move things towards TV shows, because when The Mandalorian came out, that popped off and did extremely well. And it seems like their thought process behind it is, people like TV shows now. And then with the Mandalorian Grogu movie, if that does really well, which, if they do it right, it could and very well might be very good. If that does really well, are they going to shift from people don't like TV shows, now they like movies now? That's not it. It's we like good writing and good stories, and it just so happens to have correlated with what they've been shifting with. And that brings me back to when I mentioned in our first episode, where they're like, the superheroes and stuff, you have all these years and comics and stuff of lore to fall back on. You don't have that with Star Wars. What? There's stuff out there like that Plagueis novel. Yeah. Is pretty universally except people love it for the most part. I don't think I've heard any. I'm not saying that people don't like it, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But overall, I hear pretty positive reviews of that. That's a story you could work with, tweak a little bit, and it'd work. And just it's all written out for you.
Yeah. All
just
you have to
do
do
it.
is adapt
Yeah,
it. That's it.
Yeah. You know, and there's some other ones out there like that. You know, and it's just they're just.
It's crazy the decisions that they make. When they nail it, they nail it. But when they don't, they really don't.
Yeah, when they hit the home run, they knock it way out of the park. But then sometimes they foul ball it way. Yeah, it's.
Yeah. Well, hopefully these upcoming Star Wars projects are home run hitters. I'm excited for them. So hopefully they meet or excel expectations, or at least are good. So regardless, I'm excited to sit down and watch more Star Wars content.
Right. So, looking ahead a little bit to Celebration. If you could, you wrote it, designed it, everything, the whole package. What is one thing you would like to see announced?
Ooh, like
movie-wise, story-wise,
story-wise?
TV. So what would just be cool to you?
What would be cool to me, and this is coming from a personal preference, we've gotten hints of him in different media. He was mentioned in The Mandalorian. He had a comic book series recently that I need to finish. I want a good origin Jango Fett story for live action. Tamara Morrison is still very much active in the Star Wars community. He wants to do more stuff. I'd say while we got him, use them. And let's tell a really good Jango Fett origin story.
I like that. That's a good one.
You could take open seasons even and tie it right into that. Heck, you can even take the Bounty Hunter game and add some elements of that into it. Like there's plenty of story there that we can just tell it and tell it really well. I'd like to see something like that.
Yeah, that's a good one. For as far as live action, the one I thought of, you got Ewan McGregor is open to do more Star Wars.
Yes.
Hayden Christensen. You got Anthony Daniels is still around. I believe Natalie Portman even said that she might even consider doing something. Tamara Morrison is down for doing it. Ian McDermott for sure would do it.
Yeah.
What do all those characters have in common? Clone Wars.
Yes.
Do a Clone Wars movie or an 8-episode series with all them heavy hitters in it and just pick a battle or something from the Clone Wars and tie it in there and do live action versions of all those people. They'd all be, you might have, I don't know how you, Natalie Portman might be the only question mark, but I think I've read recently where she might be under the right circumstance. But you got all those other people that are itching to do more Star Wars. How do you bring them all together? What a mega event that would be.
Absolutely.
And you could have a Clone Wars movie. I know you had that animated Clone Wars movie that kicked it all off. You could do it as a movie, do it as a 8-part series, and just deal with some battle. You could live action Asajj Ventress. Dooku would be an issue, but you could have where he wasn't necessarily involved in that battle. You could Grievous back.
Oh, for sure.
So there's a lot of big things you could do there that, to me, that would be pretty darn cool.
That would be.
And then, as far as animation, I know you got the Mandalorian series going on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I want an animated series done like in the style of Clone Wars. I wish Rebels was done. Not knocking the animation for Rebels. I wish Star Wars animation kept a clean, where all the animation is
kind of
consistent.
Consistent. Yeah.
Not Rebels. The animation's great.
Yeah.
Just some more unity there as
Yeah,
far
yeah.
as not knocking anybody's talents or anything like that. But I want an animated series as good as the Clone Wars, as good as the Rebels, post Return of the Jedi with Han, Luke, and Leia. You can show Ben Solo's birth. You can deal with, some stuff there. Kind of lead us towards the sequel trilogy and some of the things that I'm not so fond of the sequel trilogy. Kind of make it work for me. Because honestly, there's things in the prequel trilogy, after seeing just the 3 movies, was kind of... But then the Clone Wars came along and added so much. I enjoy watching the prequels so much more now.
It really fleshed it out.
With the little details from the Clone Wars put in it. I want to do the same thing with Han, Luke, and Leia post Return of the Jedi. You can have cameos by Mandalorian in it every once in a while.
Yeah.
But focus on their story and what led them up to the sequel trilogy would be amazing.
That would be
think.
awesome.
Yeah.
I'd like to see something like that announced. That'd be really cool. So a hint, if
Yeah,
any of you
hey,
Disney
yeah.
execs are listening or watching in.
Free ideas.
Oh yeah. Just credit us at some point or bring us on for an exclusive coverage or something.
But I think that, to me, that would maybe help the sequels, especially stuff with some of Luke's decisions and stuff. Now I'm just left with speculation and all that, and then I'm kind of. But give me some meat and potatoes before that, and help me
Understand the
ease me into why things went that way about would help a lot. Like I said, just like the Clone Wars, I felt did a lot for the prequel trilogy.
Yeah,
so.
for sure. I think that would play really well for the entire product of the Star Wars timeline in a whole. It would really fit nice. It would really.
And Mark Hamill does all those animated voices, Joker and all those, so
he'd be perfect to bring in for it.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to wrap things up for this episode. If you liked it, please show us by liking down below. It really helps out a lot. And if you want to keep up to date with us, be sure to subscribe. Hit that little notification bell so you're alerted every time we make a new episode. And consider following us on Instagram as well to keep up with us. And until next time,
may the Force be with you.